A raging fire is unfazed by wind whispers. Those who disobey the universe are simply erased. They are not argued with. When your adversaries realize they are losing, they shout the loudest. They are desperate, not powerful, which is why they scratch, claw, and fling everything at you. They want to shatter you because that's the only way they know how to fight. The fact is, though, that they never engaged in combat with you. No one prevails over the cosmos, and they were battling the power that chose you. Please take a moment to like and subscribe before we go further. Our force gets stronger the more selected ones make it to this point. You tell the system that this message needs to be shared each time you interact. This is how we get together. We rise in this way. Let's get started. The world is afraid of the selected because of what they cannot control, not because of what they can see. Being selected turns you into a force that is unpredictable and uncontrollable, a disturbance and an abnormality. The air changes as you enter a room. Their delusions begin to fall apart when they realize you exist. They attack for this reason. They whisper for this reason. They believe that if they put enough pressure on you, enough opposition, and enough uncertainty, you will crumble. However, a selected one cannot be broken in actuality. You were made to withstand the storm, to rise when others could not, and to possess an unassailable force. And yet here you are, doubting your own brightness, asking yourself in the dark whether you were mistaken or if being normal was always your destiny. You dare. What has the universe put in you? How dare you doubt it? When every power in the universe is working in your favor, how dare you act as though you were abandoned? Your adversaries are battling not only you, but also the force that brought you into the world. The instant you were selected, they lost the fight. They want you to get caught up in their games, respond, and waste your time proving yourself. The strongest warrior, however, does not engage in combat in already won wars. You don't interact with those below you. Those who don't matter don't answer to you. Their cries will be drowned out by your quiet. They can't stop you. Therefore, your very existence will be their worst nightmare. You can't be shaken by them. Furthermore, they are powerless to change what the cosmos has decreed, no matter what they do. There's no reason to battle them. All you have to do is totally embrace who you are. When you do, see how they vanish. They are unable to coexist with something bigger, not because you chase them away. When real strength is present, the weak always wane. Thus, get up, straighten your back, and let them to observe, whisper, and plot. As soon as you realize this power, it doesn't matter. They've already left. And this message is your signal to you, the one who was created to ascend, the one who was never supposed to fit in. You are just where you should be if you sense the shift or the flames. If you want to permanently quiet all of your enemies, press the like button, subscribe, and comment at number 77. The attraction toward your power gets stronger the longer you remain. Let's now begin, step by step. You will sense whether you are genuinely selected. It will be impossible for you to turn away. First of all, a monarch lets the throne speak and never quarrels with idiots. They yelled and hurled everything at you, including diversions, doubts, and falsehoods, in the hopes that something would stick and shake you. But they lost the instant you didn't respond. Presence is more important than volume when it comes to power. There is no need for the ocean to warn of impending storms. A wildfire consumes everything in its path without asking permission. Additionally, when the cosmos moves in your favor, it doesn't pause to explain itself. They never engaged in combat with you. They were battling the system, and the system always prevails. They behave as though they despise you and find you intolerable. Let's face it, though, people are afraid of you because of who you are, not because of what you have done. Because they sense the change in energy and the weight of something bigger the instant you entered the room. They are consumed by the fact that they saw in you what they would never be. Have you ever questioned why their attacks seem so intimate? Why do they keep such a tight eye on you? Why do they make such an effort to undermine you? Since they are aware that they cannot contact you. Your achievement, not your failure, is their worst nightmare. It hurts them to watch you moving silently, unshaken, untouchable, because they want to be seen, heard, and validated in all they do. However, you don't require a crowd. Approval is not necessary. The very fact that you exist puts their entire universe at danger. An idiot believes they can leap off a cliff and miraculously avoid falling, defying gravity. Your adversaries believed they could plan, influence, and obstruct you with no repercussions. However, the universe maintains a perfect score. They weren't only playing tricks on you, they were threatening the system's equilibrium. Now, everything is coming back together. Have you seen their current struggles? How are their own plans falling apart? How are they being caught in the traps they create for you? That's correction, not karma. Retaliation is not necessary for the cosmos. It just puts things back in order, and that order means that things that were based on falsehoods will fall apart. Truth-based construction will triumph. You don't need to seek justice because of this. Justice has already begun. They want to know what's going to happen next. They want to watch you get angry. However, you cannot be read. You are the darkness that travels silently, the storm that comes out of nowhere. A lion doesn't provide warning before striking. Before crashing, a tsunami doesn't bargain. Furthermore, a genuine chosen one doesn't waste time defending, demonstrating, or explaining. What's killing them is that you just move. You refuse to fight a war that had already been won, despite their attempts to lure you into it. Rather, you left, and your absence bothers them more than anything else. Are you curious about the best form of retaliation? Quiet. Achievement. Seeing them destroy themselves while you prosper. Because in reality, they were never your rivals. They never even shared the same level of skill. A diamond doesn't grovel for attention. A storm may alter landscapes without authorization. How about you? You don't have to justify your invincibility. Consider how far you've come in spite of all the lies, traps, and betrayals you've encountered. You survived when you weren't meant to. You are the most dangerous player in the game only because of it. Your adversaries are out of maneuvers. You're just getting started in the interim. Second, the sun just beams. It doesn't apologize for scorching. You don't need to do anything at all. You don't need to speak. They'll be shaken just by your presence. Even before you enter, they sense it. Before you even say a word, the atmosphere shifts. They dislike it when they stiffen up. They detest the fact that you are carrying something inexplicable and unattainable for them. Even if you don't try, they are uncomfortable just being around you. They never wanted to look in the mirror that is you. Everything they claim to be is exposed by you. You make them aware of their shortcomings, and they attack you rather than working on themselves or confronting their own shortcomings. Why? Because it's simpler to despise the sun than to acknowledge that you will never be as radiant as it is. When you're not there, they speak about you. They make fun of you, try to misrepresent you, and try to minimize you. However, are you aware of the true meaning of that? It indicates that they have already lost. A really strong individual doesn't waste time hatching schemes to harm others. The opinions of sheep don't cause a lion to lose sleep. They feel helpless around you, and it kills them, which is why they are infatuated with you. You don't follow their guidelines. You don't plead for permission. To make people feel at ease, you don't shrink. Because of this, you pose a threat. To live, they require approval. They must be favored. They must be comforted. How about you? You don't need anything. You are strong because of who you are. You don't pursue. You're not begging. You don't give an explanation. The very fact that you exist causes them to become alarmed. You can't stifle the wind despite their attempts to do so. You were constructed like a mountain. Therefore, they tried to break you. They didn't comprehend you were the storm. They just wanted to see you fall apart. Now that nothing they try is working, they are afraid. You don't recoil when they launch their most vicious strikes at you. They attempt to get you to play their games, but you choose not to. You soar above their attempts to pull you into the muck. They are consumed by the quiet, calmness, and serene strength that emanate from you. They can't comprehend how you move so confidently or how you persevere when everything should have broken you. They don't understand how you can remain strong in the face of adversaries. The fact is, though, that they were never your true issue. Just your presence reveals everything that was based on falsehoods, is faulty, and is wrong. They are afraid of you because of this. Watch them fumbling, overanalyzing, and frantically attempting to figure you out. Nothing needs to be done on your part. They are attempting to drag you down by harming themselves. They are being eaten alive by envy. They are being choked by their own fears. They were always in danger, not you. The cosmos aligns itself to protect you, to move for you, to remove everything that no longer serves your purpose because you were selected. Additionally, they never crossed your way. They're vanishing because of this. Their assaults aren't succeeding because of this. Because of this, people lose more the more they attempt. You are the hurricane, but they wanted to be the storm that ruined you. You were never intended to be domesticated, yet they believed they could control you. They didn't know you were unbreakable. They assumed you would shatter. You don't have to fight them because of this. Nothing needs to be proven by you. You don't require retribution. All you have to do is remain yourself. Because a chosen one who is aware of their power is the most horrifying thing to them. Third, a snake will always reveal itself. Simply await the hiss. You didn't have to look for them to find those who were working against you. You never had to sift through the darkness. They let themselves be seen. They had no choice. They first claimed to be on your side, played it cool, and grinned in your face. Energy, however, is always truthful, and a person's mask begins to come off when they are in the midst of something bigger than themselves, something they have no control over. And that's precisely what took place. Your adversaries believed they could work in secret while smearing your reputation, that they were concealed, and that they could play both sides. The problem is that their own envy grew too much for them to bear. Their own inadequacies caused them to fall under the pressure of your ascent. They were interested in observing, analyzing, and dissecting you in the background. However, they went into a panic the instant you began to win and made a move without turning around, and they made themselves vulnerable in that fright. They began to falter, whispering a bit too loudly, expressing slight grudges, and displaying their envy with phony grins. And they were no longer hidden before they even knew it. They seemed foolish as they stood there in the open, completely exposed. The thing about being selected is that you don't need to look for adversaries. All you need to do is keep going, and they will always show themselves. They begin to follow your every step, keep tabs on you, and speak about you more than they do about their own lives. They neglect to uplift themselves because they are so focused on tearing you down. People quickly realize, what type of person spends their time attempting to ruin someone else? With so much resentment, what sort of person moves? Before long, everyone will realize who they truly are. The true irony lies in that they are merely exposing themselves, even though they believe they are harming you. They painted themselves as the weak, resentful ones, even while they wanted you to be the bad guy, the ones in need, those who are so overcome with jealousy that they are unable to concentrate on their own course. They didn't simply despise your achievement. They detested your fortitude, the manner in which you continued, unaffected, while others drowned in their own failings. And it grew worse for them the more they attempted to interfere with you. In actuality, the universe will prevent them from defeating you. The same thing that destroys them will be the traps they create for you. They will suffocate on the poison of every lie they say. They will never grow because of all the energy they waste on you. How about you? There is nothing for you to do. It is not necessary for you to fight them. There's no need to dispute. You are not required to reveal them. They'll take care of all that themselves, because they are doomed because of their fascination with you. They didn't take you seriously. They believed you would engage in their game. They believed that you would become like them. They were unaware, however, that chosen ones don't play with peasants. The chosen ones don't roll with snakes in the dirt. Those who have been chosen don't waste time proving themselves to those who were never their equal in the first place. And they are losing as a result. Knowing who you are and never leaving your throne are the sources of your strength. You are already 10 steps ahead of them, while they are occupied with their own envy, racing around in circles and wearing themselves out. They are able to communicate. They are able to spread rumors. They are able to plot. It makes no difference. That's because you are ultimately untouchable. And they will just serve as a lesson in your narrative. Fourth, you are controlled by the person who manages your emotions. They wanted you to shatter, to blow up, to plead, because they win the instant you react. They thrive on your vitality, rage, and suffering. However, they hunger when you don't give them anything. Because you don't want to be played, they term you frigid. Because you don't fall for their trickery, they accuse you of being cruel. However, the fact that you are free frightens them. They expected you to pursue, clarify, and establish your worth. But you didn't. They're going crazy trying to find out how they lost control of you once you stepped back and disengaged. The deadliest weapon you can deploy is emotional detachment. Not because you don't feel anything, but rather because you don't allow emotions to dictate your decisions. To keep you ensnared, they used your emotions to trap you into reacting, guilt you into remaining, and keep you caught up in their web of mayhem. But the threads broke the instant you stopped answering, and another pointless instrument is a puppet without strings. They didn't think you would outgrow them. They never imagined you would get the courage to go. You watched them crumble beneath the weight of their own games, unaffected and untouchable. The person who is unmanageable is the most dangerous person on the planet, and you have turned into just that. They aim to make you bleed by hurling words at you like blades, but you've perfected the art of quiet, so you don't. They wanted you to defend your decisions and provide an explanation in order to allay their own fears. You owe them nothing, though. You turned into a menace the instant you stopped looking for approval. The fact that you don't require their approval is intolerable to them. They find it intolerable that you don't recoil when they make fun of you. They find it intolerable that you aren't shaken by their departure. For this reason, they continue to observe, wait, and hope for a response. Give them time to wait. Allow them to yell. Let them ponder why their actions no longer have an impact on you. The fact is that they never had authority over you. You simply weren't aware of it yet. They used commitment, love, and guilt to manipulate you. However, their power vanished as soon as you recognized it for what it was and decided to choose peace over turmoil. And they're out now. They are left to their own nothingness without your energy to eat. They are helpless without you, which is why they lash out and try to attract your attention. Resigning is a sign of strength, not weakness. It is the capacity to declare, "I choose myself." It is the ultimate statement that you will not be influenced. They'll accuse you of being self-centered. They'll claim that you've evolved. They'll accuse you of being the bad guy. Permit them. Because a selected person never remains in environments that deplete them. A selected person never justifies their value. Unfazed, unstoppable, and untouchable, a chosen one advances. You've already won because of this. Fifth, the sun will always be hated by a weak flame. You didn't have to speak. There was never anything you needed to prove. They were triggered just by your existence in your truth and authority. They hate you because of what you stand for, not because of what you have done. Your assurance causes others to doubt their own hesitancy. They are reminded of their loss by your aim. Your genuineness reveals the masks people put on a daily basis, and they project that anger onto you rather of addressing their own emptiness or repairing themselves. Seeing someone who isn't scared to walk in their own light makes them angry. They have lived their whole lives acting as though they are content, strong and in control, etc. They can't take it when you show up effortlessly real. It is not necessary for you to assault them. You are not required to compete. They are destroyed just by your existence and complete strength. They whisper for this reason. They chatter because of this. They attempt to defame you, misrepresent you, and incite others against you because of this. Because you must be little for them. They want you to have self-doubt. They want you to doubt your value. The fact is, however, that you are not fighting their struggle. They're with themselves. They have been ignoring their own reality, escaping from their reflection, and constructing their identity on unfounded foundations for years. And now, all those flaws are visible as I stand beside you. Therefore, they project their self-hatred onto you, which is the only thing they know how to do. They don't comprehend confidence, which is why they call you arrogant. They don't comprehend discipline, which is why they label you lucky. They don't know what it means to be chosen, which is why they label you different. Let them speak, though, because you are who you are, regardless of what people say. They want you to become smaller and more manageable, so they can deal with you more easily. But just because they can't withstand the heat doesn't mean you should cut back on your fire. You have nothing to do with their misery. They can turn their heads away if your light makes them blind. They can move aside if you are overly energetic. However, you should never, ever darken yourself to make them feel at ease. The trick is that they don't genuinely despise you. They are envious of you. They wish they had your strength, your clarity, and your resilience in the face of all the attempts to break you. They wish they were not forced to live for approval. They long to be able to move fearlessly. However, they strive to destroy you rather than learn from you, since it's simpler to demolish than to better yourself. Allow them to crumble under the pressure of their own jealousy. Allow them to drown in their own resentment. Because you are just becoming better, while they are wasting their time and energy hating you. When a diamond shines, it doesn't apologize. A wildfire doesn't say it's sorry it burned. How about you? You don't say you're sorry for having all the power. Either they will come forward to greet you, or they will disappear into the background, where they belong. In any case, you continue to shine. Sixth, a shadow just indicates that light exists. It cannot stop the sun. They believe they could prevent you. It would just take their words, their plots, and their little games to defeat you. They never realized, however, that you were never engaged in the same conflict as them. They thrive on fleeting things like control over others, recognition, and approval. Something bigger moves with you. You battle for something that will last, while others struggle to be seen. Their attacks never succeeded because of this. Because of this, you continued despite their loud noises, as they never posed a serious risk. They never did more than serve as a diversion. Your aim endures despite the passing of enemies. A few weak individuals trying to obstruct you won't cause your destiny to fall apart. The wind does not yell at a mountain to fall. They are merely wind, noise, and background disturbance in a tale that was never about them. And that's precisely what they are. They didn't know the difference between a fight and a war, so they hurled everything at you in the hopes that you would give up. The little quarrels were never your concern. You were made for something that was well out of their grasp. They despise you because of this, because you continue to disprove them, because you are here regardless of how much they assault. You're still getting up. You're still developing. They have no idea what it's like to move with intention, to follow a higher power than ego, retaliation, or trivial games. They are unable to identify you because of this. They are obsessed with you because of this, since they're transient, but you never die. They were unaware that their animosity was pointless, because all they were doing was exhausting themselves by scheming against you. They appear exhausted as a result. They appear resentful as a result. They burn themselves out, even if they believe they were tearing you down. You were focused on something bigger than them, and they were focused on you. You were going forward while others were running in circles. You never had to battle them because of this. You never had to prove anything to them because of this. They never really posed a problem in the first place. They were only as strong as you made them be, and they vanished the instant you lost interest in them and returned your focus to your goal. Those who attempt to undermine you are only guests in your narrative, footnotes in a book they will never comprehend. Your mission will endure, even if they do not. They are afraid of you because of this, so you'll outlive them, because they are aware that your name will live on, while they are eventually forgotten. The seventh is that a wolf attacks, not barks. They were looking for your words. They desired your response, because they possessed a portion of your power as long as they held your attention. But they worried when you stopped talking. The most deadly weapon you can deploy is silence, because it makes people confront themselves, not because it betrays weakness. In actuality, your adversaries aren't prepared for that. They depend on confusion, noise, diversions, and entangling you in meaningless conflicts. They wanted you to defend your existence, to explain yourself, to disprove them. However, you became untouchable when you remained silent. They are confused by silence. It irritates them. It causes them to doubt everything. You stay unaffected as they spiral out of control, overanalyzing every action and drowning in their own paranoia. Why aren't they responding? Why aren't they defending themselves? Why aren't they reacting? They ask. Power is that. An idiot quarrels. A monarch watches. A selected individual remains mute and allows the cosmos to respond. They only injure themselves when they hurl words like daggers. They create traps, but first step into them. They fabricate tales while revealing their own resentment. You remain silent the entire time. You are not required to, because they'll be shaken just by your presence. Their cries are drowned out by your quiet. Have you ever seen how they break down when they are unable to receive a reaction from you? How do their taunts become desperate? How do people begin to falter, showing their fear, doubts, and jealousy? It's not a coincidence. That's how quiet can be powerful. They are unable to tolerate being disregarded. They must be aware that they reached you. They need evidence that their statements made an effect. However, they burn themselves to ashes when you don't flinch or fuel their fire. What's the best part? You didn't have to do anything. People are forced to be vulnerable and reveal their genuine motives when they remain silent. Someone who is unable to tolerate your quiet is someone who was never intended to be around you, because true power does not grovel for recognition. It doesn't pursue. It is not self-explanatory. Permission is not required for a wildfire to devour everything in its path. Before it drowns the shore, a tsunami doesn't say sorry. Furthermore, a selected one never wastes effort demonstrating their value to others who are unable to understand it. Let them ponder. Allow them to inquire. Allow them to dwell in their own noise's emptiness. They witness their own demise in your silence, which is like a mirror. You offered them nothing. They wanted conflict, and they ruined themselves in that emptiness. They received apathy instead of the rage they expected. They were forgotten, but they expected a struggle. And for an adversary, nothing is worse than discovering they were never important to you in the first place. Let them speak. Let them plot. Allow the weight of their own words to overwhelm them. Because you're moving while they're creating noise. You will always prevail because of this.